Welcome to this edition of the Eric Squared Circle podcast. This is episode 23. I am Eric Ozio here with my esteemed colleague and good friend, Eric Robinson. How are you today, Mr. Robinson?
Hey, buddy. What's going on?
Not much. I am in my brand new headquarters. Within my headquarters here in Springboro, Ohio, I am in my man office in which is in my current apartment that I just moved into this past weekend. While everyone was going crazy and freaking out, I was moving. And I come to you now from my new headquarters where I am streaming through the Discord app with my buddy Eric Robinson. Here with the Eric Squared Circle podcast, it is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I am
that's right.
held up in my home, self-quarantined, but I will be hungry again. So
voluntarily. We need to throw it out that you don't have the coronavirus, right?
Well, I have not been tested, so I can't say whether or not I have it or not, but I can say I don't feel bad at all. I actually feel great. Life is actually not bad right now. Brand new place, getting good remarks at work. Contract exception, except I'm waiting on word about a permanent position. So shit can be, I'm going to say it, shit can be definitely worse for me, and I feel great, Mr. Robinson. So I'm just going to stay away from people.
I like the energy.
Oh. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
On.
I like it.
I got to edit that out.
That's fine.
You know I got to edit that out. I'm not going to edit that out.
Oh, you're not going to edit that out. But, dude,
I'm
not in a bad place. I can't wait for this new headquarters I have, the Ozio headquarters. I can't wait to get it really just chilled out and just looking fly as hell. It's going to be looking good. Can't wait. So coronavirus cannot bring me down.
But it can bring down the world of wrestling. So,
Yep. And again, we're not coming to you from the 3 Points Urban Brewery like we have been the last month and a half or so. We are coming to you from our homes, and we want to just get kind of a feel on the wrestling industry right now with the pandemic that is currently occurring. Sorry I had to miss last Saturday. Again, I was moving. But again, apparently the world was ending. Just kidding. It's not ending, but we are losing a lot in terms of, people are dying, but safety is a primary goal here for everyone. And Eric and I are coming to you again from inside our house on Discord. I very much look forward to being able to come to all of you from 3 Points Urban Brewery in Cincinnati, Ohio. However, we are still here, and the Eric Squared Circle podcast must go on, and we're talking about the wrestling industry, or lack thereof, really, kind of, and how we're feeling as wrestling fans. How is social distancing going for you, Mr. Robinson, and the people around you? Oh, wait, never mind, just you. And how do you think it's going for the wrestling business? And it's all across several promotions.
Well, so far, it really hasn't been too terrible. I have gone to work the last few days trying to get myself ready to start a new job that'll be entirely remote, so it can be coming at a better time. But now I got about a week and a half left, so debating whether to work from home. We are not officially closed, but I think that with everything that's going on, it could be more and more likely that something happens, but it's weird, man, because it's so fluid and changes by the day that, I don't really know necessarily anymore what to believe, and it's almost like information overload, just because there's just everybody doing stories on transmission and current mortality rates and everything like that, and hand washing and what to do when you're bored. I mean, it is.
We're here.
It is a bit of an.
We
overload,
are here,
man.
I've been off work, so I worked from 8:30 this morning. I went in to get my laptop and confirm that my actual interview for my internal position was going to be moved to a Skype, and then it turned into a phone call. with my actual manager that I talk to almost every other day. But just did that, went home, finished my taxes with my accountant / my lovely mother. I did that, came back, worked for another 6 hours into 5:45. Got off, prepped up for our program here this evening on Tuesday, March 17th. I wore green today. I did wear green this morning when I went into the office.
I forgot. I straight up forgot that it's St. Patrick's Day.
I guess you're just not as Irish as me. It has nothing to do with your ethnicity or your nationality, I'm sure, but you're just not
But my last name is Robinson, buddy.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
So
you didn't earn that name. It was given to you. Just saying.
What do you mean I didn't earn that? What do you mean?
Come on.
What is that?
Take it easy.
What does that
buddy.
mean, man?
It's because you're not truly
You can
Irish.
find Eric Ozio on Twitter at ericozio11 if you'd like.
Yes. Give me up at Twitter. I don't get on the Twitter sphere very often. But no, okay, I'm reeling back. So
we really got.
I'm just saying,
all over the place.
with this COVID-19 coronavirus and its impact on wrestling and the entertainment business, just as in its impact on us, that I can't watch these NCAA tournaments, this XFL. I can't watch as many wrestling programs. Obviously, the WWE is still doing what they're trying to do, and what we saw on Monday Night Raw last night, we will talk about. But I would say that it gives me an opportunity to reflect and kind of look back on what I appreciate, what I enjoy, and being able to come to you all here speaking on, this difficult time in terms of our country and our globe. This really is more of an address to wrestling, just like Stone Cold's address last night. We're addressing the fans, and we're addressing that wrestling itself is not done. The world is definitely not done. Let's just fight through these speed bumps. There's always going to be speed bumps. And now the earth is facing a little bit of a bump. We get through that bump. Like we get through Roadblock. Remember Roadblock? We got through Roadblock.
Okay, I think you're getting a little bit off the beaten path here, buddy. Just a little bit.
I don't appreciate your tone.
I think that my tone is perfectly acceptable given the medium here.
Watch your tone. Watch it! But yes, again, give me your take on us being able to kind of reflect. We can go back, and if you have the WWE Network, I strongly suggest going back and just watching past shows, watching favorite shows, especially coming up, old WrestleManias. It's perfect time to get into it, especially since the live shows are definitely going to be limited to what we're hearing about potentially having takeover and the Hall of Fame ceremonies potentially through the go-home shows of WrestleMania down in Orlando, Florida. Since it hasn't been officially announced over the weekend that WrestleMania will not take place in the terms of the fans. There will be no fans present.
But there will be WrestleMania. It'll be empty arena.
Correct.
Correct. 7 hours of that, huh?
We'll see. Again, I guess we can kind of move forward in just what the impact of the coronavirus has done just to wrestling in general. Just watching last night, just watching last night, Monday Night Raw, it's definitely different seeing Undertaker getting really upset and throwing tables around and trying to, and beating up Gallows and Anderson. It's not as meaningful when you don't have when he hits the stair step, like the steel steps, or like the like that big and then like Undertaker please retire, like all that good stuff that you love hearing that makes not just wrestling. I think wrestling is a huge thing where it's the fans are so embedded into what the course and the blood flow of the actual match is compared to other sporting events. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot different. I still love wrestling, but I just think the fans maybe a little underappreciated here going through.
It's a unique situation, that's for sure. And, regardless of, and people are very much divided on the decision to continue with WrestleMania on April 5th and doing it at the Performance Center. we've never seen anything like this before. So there really is no, precedent on how you handle a situation where you've got a wrestling show that you can produce, but you have to do it without a crowd. And I gotta say, hats off to Triple H for figuring out how to do that on the fly, because he knows the Performance Center inside out. He knows how to put on a show at down there in that type of space, just given everything he's done with NXT. So to have him really be hands on with that, I mean, kudos to him for the involvement he's had and kind of making that transition. I mean, to 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown, 2 hours of NXT. That's tough with no crowd, especially because you can't have your typical matches because you have to feed off of the crowd for those. So it can feel a little bit like a rehearsal almost when you see something like that going on live. It took some getting used to for the first time, seeing that on SmackDown with Bayley and Sasha opening the show, cutting their promo. The delivery can be tough because you're hoping to play off of the crowd and how you cut your promo and feeding off of that reaction and not have anything to go off of. That definitely poses a unique situation, and I'm not envious in the slightest. To have to try to figure that out on the fly. But I think that as time goes on, and depending on how long we're going to be in this position of WWE having to produce television like this, they'll find some ways to work it out. Notice on Raw that we'll go back to SmackDown because I can't even believe I forgot about this one. One promo that worked really, really well inside this empty arena was John Cena and Bray Wyatt. That interaction between the two of them and not having a crowd that can turn on the drop of a hat when it comes to Cena and Wyatt, and having that interaction again, especially now that Cena has decided that he's going to accept that challenge. We could get the gist of the story of this feud, and their interaction was spectacular given what it was that they had to work with. Same thing with Edge's promo on Monday. It felt grittier. It felt a little bit more real. There was no audience to drive that, which in select situations is okay, and it worked here. I thought that as far as Raw goes, the contract signing was a little off between Undertaker and AJ Styles, just because when you think Undertaker at this point, it's the pageantry of that entrance, and to not have that, and to kind of have an unplugged, stripped down version of that is. It's just tough. I know that they're doing the best they can with what they've got, and I certainly don't knock them for that. I think that the replaying the Royal Rumble and the tag chamber matches, I think that a lot of those are good ways to fill those 2 and 3 hours, just because that's a lot of time, and trying to write television that keeping the stories going, but at the same time, you need your audience. So, I mean, so far off to a good start, but, I'll turn this over to you. We're just going to go ahead and get right into it because, WrestleMania is still happening April 5th, but it's coming from the Performance Center. What do you think about that announcement?
I mean, it's a testament to how Vince McMahon, the show must go on, the show will go on. There will be no delay or suspension of the show of shows, the granddaddy of them all, Grand Pepe of them all, WrestleMania. So, with it being Stone Cold Steve Austin night last night, Stone Cold 316 day last night, and
that was tough to watch.
Stone Cold had his Stone Cold address. I did kind of enjoy Saxton taking some stunners. That was kind of funny. And then I feel like, again, the virus itself has not only affected the wrestling community and the wrestling industry as a whole, it's affecting individual feuds immensely. And I just see AJ Styles and Undertaker feud is definitely suffering from the fact that, it can't get any traction with the fans behind it. One side getting angry up at another, Undertaker kind of squashing them going forward, continuously. AJ always hiding behind his crew, Well, not always, but he did this past Monday. I am still excited to see McIntyre versus Lesnar. And again, they do call back a lot of scenes where McIntyre has claymored Brock Lesnar in the face, which I am definitely a fan of. I want to see McIntyre win, potentially. I would love to see McIntyre win in front of 85,000 people. It's more meaningful,
right.
And I like all the flash cameras going off, the cell phones, all the just the yelling and the chants.
It's the culmination of the Rumble storyline. You're used to that pomp and circumstance, the big ending,
and like
after
all the
WrestleMania.
kids and the Make-A-Wish Foundation kids and all the people that are there, special that may not even get to be there again. Aren't
the
there.
moment you soak in for 20, 25 minutes,
like
and next thing you know, you're on a flight to Good Morning America the next day.
WrestleMania moment to me is just all that. It's that culmination of everything, and then it's the sheer, like, it's a drug, dude. Like, just having that crowd and having that drive, like I was when I was playing football. But it'll still go on, but it will not be anywhere to what I've experienced and what I love to see. Guys with their moments and gals with their moments. Becky's still hot as hell, though, without the crowd cheering the man. I'm loving some Becky. She did have to chug some beers with Stone Cold, too.
She did. They're working with what they got. I mean, that's really all that I can continue to say. To not have those moments, I agree with you. It just feels like we're being robbed of something very, very special, because this card was shaping up to be really, really interesting. It definitely would have been better for them to postpone it, wait till June. There isn't, as far as I know, there isn't anything scheduled for June on the pay-per-view calendar where this could have worked. I know that they've got to have it sooner rather than later, because once, football's back in the season, that'd be a logistical nightmare. So for them to proceed at the Performance Center, I mean, an empty arena last man standing match between Orton and Edge would look pretty cool. Just because we've seen Rock and we've seen Mankind, do something like that, as far as, getting physical, using the environment around them. But some of these matches really do kind of rely on the groundswell. I mean, the fact that we're seeing, Rhea Ripley defending the NXT Women's Championship on that stage for the first time ever, it does feel a little bit hollow, because it's coming from the Performance Center in Orlando and not, inside Raymond James Stadium, where, 2 weeks ago they just had the vignette with her, walking through to get that feel of what it's going to be like on April 5th. And, now not so much. I understand the need to be cautious, given everything that's going on. And again, for everybody out there, wash your hands, social distancing. Yeah, social distancing.
I have trouble with it as well.
Yeah.
Did you notice they played Edge and Randy Orton, they played a video game match on TV? For them to watch? I don't think they actually...
On YouTube or something?
No. Yeah, I mean, that's where I watched it all. But I don't know if they actually wrestled. Obviously, they're still going at it in WrestleMania from the Performance Center. But, last man standing match with Edge and Randy. No crowd. It'll be interesting. I'm not saying I'll hate it or anything. It'll be interesting, and I'm, again, curious just to see all this stuff, because that's, what I kind of expected to see from these sports entities, to kind of just have the games without the fans. And then all these players started testing for it and testing positive. It's like, okay, now we can't even confirm the safety of the players. and very close together, trusting each other in terms of wrestling and what the moves are going to be.
So let me ask you this though.
Mm.
Do you think at this point in time that WWE should make the decision to go on hiatus effective immediately?
The whole thing? Everything?
Whole shebang.
Whole shebang?
I mean,
we don't
know how
through
bad
WWE. We're talking specifically WWE, so we're not even talking AEW, who is suspended.
I mean,
AEW has suspended everything. Is that confirmed?
No, I mean their proceedings plan. Should wrestling just stop right now? I guess is the better question, because if we've got all of the major North American, I mean, sports around the world, basically the world is at a stop right now. When do you think it's time to make that decision that wrestling? I mean, we're seeing it on the indies a lot. Again, if you can support people, buy merch, show some love, anything you can do to help people out, tip your service workers, everybody that's been affected by this, go that extra mile, help out where you can. But when does wrestling decide to follow suit, do you think?
I think if every company is saying if you can work from home, like my company is, which I'm going to be doing for the next 2 weeks at least, it seems like, you might want to stop having people travel across 200-300 miles apart at a time, every 3-4 days. Young people, very popular, healthy people that could contract stuff to individuals that are, very enamored with them, which many people are. And it's not saying for kids to be able to go up to them, and kids can bring that stuff with them. Yes, what?
So
What is it, Eric? Get it out of your mouth. What is it, Eric? Get it out of your damn mouth. What is it, buddy? What is it?
You really got to stop cutting me off, bud.
What?
All I was going to say is that if we're talking about travel and whatnot, Edge drove 17 hours to give that 5-minute promo and then drove 17 hours back home. I mean, talk about hashtag making towns.
And that was in the Performance Center. They're all going to be in the Performance Center right now.
I mean, unless, forces out of their control decide we can't let you do this here, that's where it's going to be for the foreseeable future. And that's a lot to think about, because this is a nice way, I think, to evaluate some ways to do production when you don't have a crowd, and how you can adapt. The fact that they've played Royal Rumble and the Tag Team Elimination Chamber, I mean, those were nice touches, and for all we know, we could start to see them just continue to throw in some classic content. And the best thing they can do is call it a teaser for the WWE Network and say, hey, $9.99 a month, you can catch the rest of this year if they want to double down on that.
I want to bring that thing again down. Everything's going down. Bring it on down.
Finish?
Yes. Oh, I thought you were done. I'm sorry.
I wasn't yet.
Hey, by the way, while we have Eric Interrupted, let's have a special Eric Interrupted promo for the Eric Squared Circle podcast. Hey, we're here. It's the Eric Squared Circle podcast. Check it out. Sorry, Eric. Continue.
Social media is in the show notes. But anyway.
I know. I just...
Damn it, now I lost my train of thought. All right, so...
Oh, sorry. I know I just knocked it off. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Right.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Performance Center, empty arena. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna switch gears, but not switch gears, because I mean, okay, shows going forward, essential personnel. So obviously, Skeleton's crew, Skeleton talent. It's going to be tough to keep stories going, I think, in this type of environment, because, it's a variety show that feeds off of, like I said earlier, feeds off the reaction of crowds. I mean, can we really do an entire 7-hour I mean, the Super Bowl of wrestling inside the Performance Center, it'd be like, it'd be like the Super Bowl being played on a I mean, not even necessarily a college campus. I mean, I don't know. It's not great. It's not great. And I think that, I'm definitely flabbergasted about kind of what's going on and not really sure how to react and deal with, this is the decision they make. Instead of postponing it so that people can enjoy it, you're just going to go ahead and do it.
Yep.
Now you may speak.
I already did. I said yep. And yep, they're going to keep doing it because the show must go on. We are going to see.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they'll be able to make it 7 hours because, like, you got to think that a lot of that show, I'd say 20% of it.
So much.
Is entrances. And is hyping up the crowd and getting the entrances set through correctly. Yeah, obviously the Undertaker's entrance is an outlier, but that entrance is going to take us 13 minutes at least. And you got to imagine yes.
This entrance is now going to take like 7 seconds.
Well, yes, now obviously. I'm talking like if it were still in Tampa's stadium.
Yeah.
But we're going to see
true.
We're going to see much shorter entrances. That has to bring the time down. There is no way they're going 7 hours. No possible way. And there's no way that the wrestlers are going to feel as energetic as I feel right now.
And
to be able to wrestle through the shows.
Here's something else people aren't thinking about either. I mean, think about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. There's always a multi-man match for tag team titles, a multi-women's match for the women's tag team titles, and now here we are in a position where people have to stay 6 feet away from each other, and now what are they going to do? I mean, social distancing is going to affect those handfuls of matches. So I mean, this is really going to put a dent in people's mania pay. I feel like if they can't if they can't be in such close quarters like that,
Yeah, I mean, I love hanging out with new people and meeting new wrestling fans and checking everything out, buying some merch, meeting the merch sellers, doing the events, especially during certain weekends. But none of it.
Yeah.
It's very disheartening.
It really is. It really is. I mean, let's think about the AEW side here. I'll let you kick it off, but AEW, we're gonna see tomorrow what it is that they're gonna do. I mean, what are your thoughts on what the competition's gonna do to respond to what WWE is at least putting out so far as an empty arena wrestling show on worldwide television?
I feel like, again, you saw on Monday Night Raw last night a lot of promos, a lot of standing in front of the TV, doing a TV from another angles. Replaying a lot of matches. AEW's got a lot of good stuff already. They definitely should maybe play some Revolution stuff. Build up where Cody's going to go with Jake the Snake. You don't need to be wrestling related anything there. They're going to not have a fan because they're going to follow the same suit. They can't have any fans there. But to be able to do that stuff and all the Elite stuff, why not just have like a half an episode or a full episode of the Elite, the new episode of the Elite on there? Or just, all of them, it's not all of them, so many of them are just such good, promoters / promo cutters that it will be an excellent program. It's not going to be as great if they were able to wrestle, and they're going to wrestle. They're going to have a few matches, obviously, but obviously Jon Moxley's entrance through the crowd won't happen because there will be no crowd. What is the point of entering through a crowdless crowd? Through a bunch of chairs, like, oh, how you doing, chair? How you doing? Cold? You're a little colder than that chair. That's kind of weird. So why go bother with that? But you still have the AEW champion needs to make his address. I mean, half of what Jericho does is just talking massive amounts of crap, and eventually every show, obviously. Forcing the inner circle on a single person, being Jon Moxley or Darby Allin right now.
That was savage what they did to Nick Jackson last week, but it's a nice way to write him off while he and Mrs. Nick have baby number 3.
Yeah, like, take a little break. I mean, one other time to do it. Now, I suppose. It's kind of crazy. Crazy world we live in.
I think, due any day now. So, yeah, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Nick. Anyway, so I don't even know how this is so uncharted that, everything has slowed, or it's grinded to an absolute halt is kind of what we should say.
We have a pinnacle year of wrestling with a brand new promotion coming in, and then everything just stops. Everything is stopped.
This was set to be a great year of wrestling.
And it still can be, but everything has just been halted for the betterment of the country and the world, as we can say, together. Let's get through this. Let's bone up on our wrestling history. Let's make sure that we're ready to go. We're here for you. Please write us at the ericsquaredcircle at gmail.com. We want to hear from you.
Butcher it every time.
I know I do, but I want you to.
Social media is in the show notes.
You got the promos. I can't remember sometimes. I'm just so hyped. I want to get this thing going.
That's why I kind of just wish that you would just avoid it altogether. But here we are. Anyway, if you have any matches that you're looking at while you're quarantined or not quarantined or working from home or working from wherever it is that you work, leave them on our Facebook page. Shout us out on Twitter. Leave them on Discord as well. We're all in this together, so we might as well take a stroll down memory lane. And if you've got any favorite matches out there, definitely shoot them our way. And let's rally around wrestling right now. Wrestling's always been good to us, so let's at least keep the spirit alive while we can, even if we can't necessarily go enjoy something in person right now. So as far as the with WrestleMania being 3 weeks away, what do you the current travel and virus issues aside, what have you thought about this road to WrestleMania so far, now that we're about 3 weeks out?
Even before all this went down, I thought it was a bit lackluster, unfortunately. I mean, I am pretty excited to see Lesnar face McIntyre. Other than that, I can't really say I'm super hyped, and that I feel like could have been hyped. It's been pretty well hyped these last month or so, just about. So that's probably where most of my excitement goes for the whole show, honestly. I do want to see Styles versus Undertaker, but again, that is suffering their feud and build up, their road to WrestleMania build up.
So let's get into this though. What do you think that they could be doing better with those two to get to this match?
That's not my job to figure out. That's their job to figure out. I didn't.
But if you're gonna sit here and bitch and moan about it, you should at least have an idea of how you would fix it if you had the pen.
The pen. You don't think they do that all on computers now?
It's a turn of phrase, pal.
Jeez, Eric. Jeez.
Answer the question. Because if there's something you don't like, then that means that you at least have some slight idea on how you would fix it.
I guess I would stop letting AJ get squashed all the time to start out. Maybe let it get some shots in. Seems like it's been a pretty one-sided affair at this point, but I'm hoping maybe that leads to him winning the actual match, but I'm not so sure.
But there's a reason for that, though. Taker is getting physical. AJ is getting cerebral, because the more one-sided you can make it from that standpoint, you increase the chances of making sure that you have a healthy Undertaker, I feel like, going into WrestleMania, because the last thing you want is for him to pull up and get hurt on the way there, when all he has to do is come out, hand out a couple of choke slams and throw some punches. leave all the big stuff for when it's actually going to count. And then, AJ getting to, break the fourth wall with Undertaker in a way that really has never happened before in the build to a WrestleMania story. It's always been about the supernatural, the character, the mystique of the Undertaker. But AJ is calling him Mark. He is, peeling back the curtain. Yes, we know that he's married to Michelle McCool, but they've never used that in a storyline before. And, essentially turning Michelle into this gold digger that basically, makes her husband dust off the gear once a year to go make that guaranteed 7-figure payday. It's genius, and definitely something I'm sure that Paul Heyman has at least, sprinkled some crumbs on. Undertaker gets, input on everything that he does, and I'm sure that Styles does as well. But it's working. It stinks that we find ourselves in the position of having to watch a match like this in an empty arena, because this is another one of those matches that the crowd is going to drive. I mean, Styles can have a great match with anybody, but obviously Taker he's not a spring chicken. So this one might be a little tough to watch if it does happen in the Performance Center in an empty. Yeah,
I think it's going to be, and I hope for the best. I still just overall don't understand why Undertaker is still going after dropping his hat and jacket in the middle of the ring back in WrestleMania 33. I'm not super sure on what's going to happen, how it should end, how it should properly end, which we thought it properly, I use quotations, you can't see me, properly end with Roman Reigns spearing him in one of the worst matches ever. Maybe that's why they've brought him back, because the match was just so
That's the
terrible.
Worst match ever.
I didn't say it was the worst match ever, but it was a terrible match.
Yeah, well, and then Super Showdown happened.
Yes, those were. Yes.
Yeah.
But yes,
Both
Mr. Robinson, again, I am happy to come from you from the new headquarters of Mr. Eric Ozio. I have moved into a new apartment. It's bigger. It's better. It's going to be so fly here soon, even better. I can't wait to have you over, when this thing dies down, and we can do shows again down in Cincy at the 3 Points Urban Brewery.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. We're gonna miss.
And we're
gonna miss being there,
and we can see my beautiful belts again, and hopefully one of your belts here soon. I would hope.
You know what? You can just stop bringing it up, and when it happens, you'll know. How about
I want it now. I want to see it now.
You know what?
Right now. I love
Patience, young Padawan.
Oh, okay. Well, again, I hope you've been listening to this point. This is the Eric Squared Circle podcast, coming to you again on St. Patrick's Day. We are, as far as I'm aware, pretty wrapped up, Mr. Robinson.
Are we?
Are we?
I guess. I guess so.
I don't have anything else at this point. I mean, in terms of, I wouldn't mind coming on potentially, since we don't have a whole lot to do except watch wrestling and watch.
I know that's kind of why I'm disappointed this is over, is because
But I mean, we still got AEW coming up tomorrow night, so that's just tomorrow night. Again, today's Tuesday. We got Wednesday night to see what's going on.
I'm gonna double check that while we're going.
Okay,
here.
let's double check what's happening with AEW, everybody, before we cut off. Again, we want to be as. You don't have the ability to check all the things that happen through the wrestling wakes. Check into the Eric Square Circle podcast. You don't have to watch 9 hours worth of wrestling programming to keep in touch.
Okay. Looks like it's still a go. It's been moved to Jacksonville. So probably
their
inside
performance
the training
center.
facility
Yeah,
or
their
something.
training facility.
Yeah. Maybe that's it.
So it's basically the same thing. We'll see how the show goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely intrigued. At this point, it's just, oh, you know what? No, we're not done yet. You know why?
Why?
Because we have a new WWE superstar on the roster, and we haven't even talked about him.
Tell me more.
You didn't know?
The Muffin Man?
Your ass better call somebody.
Okay, I'll call somebody.
Yeah. So, Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, yes, I did hear about this, actually.
Come on, man. Okay, there you go.
I heard about it, but again, I don't know the specifics.
It is official. Rob Gronkowski is a WWE superstar. He is under contract. Mojo Rawley has confirmed that he will be at SmackDown this upcoming week. It's going to be real interesting. Gronk, three-time Super Bowl champion with the New England Patriots, making the transition from the gridiron to the squared circle, man. I mean, obviously he's got the size, he's got the look and the athleticism.
Definitely the chops, I would say, as well.
Yeah, can he hack it? I mean, we've seen him get into the ring, once, and
Jinder Mahal,
that was football tackle,
funny.
but
yeah, that was great.
As far as wrestling,
let's just point out that the female security guard actually tried to keep him out. It was like,
yeah,
come on, even the fans know. Come on, let's go, get it together.
Like, yeah.
They're like, oh, sorry. Oh.
He's in on it.
He's in on it. Come on, duh. Get it together, lady. Come on. Jeez. But yeah, no, I could definitely get behind this. Gronk's always been just an absolute clown, and definitely I'm interested to see his mic work. He's definitely not going to go back to football at this point, especially if this goes well. And this would be a huge get for the WWE over their now new fierce competitor in AEW All Elite Wrestling. So.
And it's a lot.
Nice
a lot
feather
easier
in the
on
cap.
his body too.
What's that?
Yeah, it's a lot easier on his body too. And he's gonna work limited. He's gonna work limited dates. I mean, he's not gonna do the normal schedule that the full-time performers do. But this is a nice get to have for marquee matches, and there's no shortage of people that he could work with that would be able to make him look like $1 million. And the other big question is, what does Gronk coming to WWE mean for Mojo Rawley? Because Mojo has been one of those guys that has
you could definitely get the rub.
He could. That's the thing. It's just do we really go from working main event to lower mid card to 24/7 championship? I mean, to now all of a sudden being in the main event. I mean, is that the Gronkowski effect for him? I mean, they're friends, so I mean, it's not like it's weird or anything like that.
Maybe tag team gold, maybe some tag team
Mojo
rubs.
in the main event.
He could definitely start out as let's not assume that Gronk will just come in as a full-fledged superstar. Like maybe he'll go the Orange Cassidy route, freshly squeezed.
Ain't nobody going the Orange Cassidy route because there was only one
promoting
Orange Cassidy.
Kind of a best friend kind of thing. Obviously, there's only one Orange Cassidy. I'm just saying you can compare the way they come in. They don't come in as an immediate. I could see him as like just this Don Farion charismatic promoter, like another Paul Heyman. Like I would love to see a Rob Gronkowski versus Paul Heyman, like chops out, like they like talk massive shit between each other before Gronk even like gets into a one-on-one match. They kind of build it up for a while. And he's definitely got the popularity, obviously. And he obviously is a fan, and that's definitely an important factor.
Yeah, I mean, Gronk is, again, a huge get for WWE. No shortage of people that he can work with. It's good all around for everybody, and especially when you're putting him on SmackDown, the exposure for Fox means ratings, which means more money. which means more exposure, and it's just a nice little cycle that continues. At this point, I can already think of people I'd like to see him, be involved in programs with. I mean, to see him, mix it up with Reigns would be cool. I mean, that's definitely something as far as a tag team match that I could potentially see down the line, especially once Roman gets his hands on the Blue Universal Championship.
Getting to the Blue Universal Championship,
right? Think vignettes with the New Day as he's kind of just making his way around. Obviously, they're gonna have some fun with that and with him. Think Mandy Rose, another Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville kind of angle could be something that they have some fun with. People getting starstruck over Gronk being around, and I mean, he's one of those guys that he's gonna work hard. He's charismatic, gets along with everybody. He knows a locker room. He knows how to conduct himself in a locker room. So there's not any of those, there's really no growing pains that you have to, adapt or kind of tell him, here's how we do things. Honestly, another one I'd love, and it's a long shot, but Rob Gronkowski and Matt Riddle mixing it up.
The Gronk. The bro Gronk.
And the bro.
Gronk and the bro.
No, those would be some broserweights, man.
I just want to do like my Gronk pose right here, like every time I start talking about Gronk when we're in the 3 points. Gronk. Can't wait to start seeing some Gronk in the squared circle, and we can talk about Gronkowski on the Eric Squared Circle podcast. In the future.
Yeah.
In the future. It'll be great.
It will be great. At least we hope it will be. It remains to be seen. There are plenty of people that come and go as far as celebrities that get involved in wrestling. And they can, they're charismatic, they're easygoing, they've got it all together, and then the bell rings, and then that red light goes on, and it all just kind of falls apart. I hope that Gronk is in the minority of people that gets to succeed and have that successful crossover, and the fact that he enjoys it is really gonna go a long way with him. So I think sky's the limit for Gronk, and there's a really cool move on WWE's part to make something like this happen. So we're in for a fun year whenever we get back to normal.
Hopefully soon, everybody.
Yeah,
for people that listen to us. It'll get better. I believe it.
Yeah. Do your part. Wash your hands. All of it. Just be smart. Be smart. Make good choices, and everybody stay safe out there, man.
Please do. Mr. Robinson.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
See you, buddy.
Social distancing at its finest. Later. Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Eric Squared Circle Show. If you liked what you heard, take a quick second to leave us a review, and if it's a 5-star, we'll read it on the air. We really want to hear from you guys, so if you have a question, trivia, interview ideas, or any other suggestions, we want to hear them. Shoot us an email at ericsquaredcircle@gmail.com. And don't forget, you guys are the reason that we do this show. It's the ultimate show by Smarks, for Smarks, so what's not to love? Let's keep the discussion going on Twitter using the hashtag E2SC, and join our server on Discord. Last but not least, subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure you turn on notifications, because you'd be crazy to miss anything it is that we're doing right now.